I was listening to a YouTube clip, and it was about a man talking about an Englishman who discovered, you know how white folks love to discover things that already existed before they even thought about breathing. But we give it to them. It was a tribe that had never interacted with the outside world. And he went to this tribe and he lived with them, and it was very eye-opening for him. And he invited the chief to come back to England with him to share the way that he lives. And he thought that the Englishman thought that the tribe leader would be so impressed with the way that they live, with all the technologies and things like that. So basically he said the Englishman was leaving his house, and the tribesman asked him, "Where do you go every day for such a long period of time?" And he says he goes to work. And the tribesman says, "You don't take your family with you to work?" And he said, "No, I can't take my family with me to work." And the tribesman said, "Do you like your family? Do you love your family? Do you love your work more than you do your family?" And the Englishman said, "No, I love my family. They're the reason that I go to work. They're why I leave every day." And the tribesman couldn't understand it. It didn't make any sense. If you love them, why do you leave them? Why do you give your day to this place? It made no sense. So the Englishman began to explain that, "Well, I go to work for my family. That's how I can afford this house and food and a car. We wouldn't be able to live in this house if I didn't go to work." And the tribesman still couldn't understand. And now the Englishman was confused. And the Englishman asked him, "Well, what do you do when you need a house, if you need a house?" And the tribesman said, "If someone needs a house in our village, we all come together and we build a house. And it takes maybe a month. And then we all go back to our families. And if someone needs something else, we all come together and we create it and we build it. And then we go back to our families." And it was the first time in the Englishman's life that he realized that the way that he was living was not impressive at all. That essentially it was not living at all. He thought that he would take the tribesmen back to his country and that they would be so impressed. But the tribesman was not impressed at all. I think he said the only thing that impressed them was the fact that there was a butcher, that if you wanted meat, you could just go to the shop and you could get meat. That impressed them. Because if you ever slaughtered an animal or have to hunt an animal or do any caregiving to an animal that you then were going to eat that didn't involve high scope rifles and all these advantages that is basically slaughter. It's not hunting. I don't even know why we call it hunting anymore. That's probably another conversation. But it's extremely unfair to the animal, what we call these days hunting. But the tribesman was impressed with that. It's difficult to slaughter an animal. And I speak from experience. I speak from experience. It's a challenging thing. That's the only thing that impressed the tribesmen. The Englishmen realized that the way that he was living, the way that they were living in society was completely backwards. That this tribe really had the answers. That the way they were living is natural. And really is the way that we all should be living. We spend time with our family and the ones that we love. We cultivate and grow and build. We skill share. We use our skills. And when someone needs something in the community, we all come together and create it. And then we go back to our loved ones. Connection. That's connection to me. That's connection.